What's up, guys? I'm from Airsoft Headquarters here, and welcome back to the channel. Back behind me, you obviously can see that we're back here in the store. Actually, in fact, I think the previous video I may have been back here in the store. I can't remember. The store has been open, so I've been pretty crazy busy as far as getting product out and cycling and helping customers and bringing new product in. So we're gonna see some new stuff. Spoiler. Anyway, keep watch on our Facebook and our Instagram to keep up to date with all the new product that we're bringing in. That's just a shameless plug right there. But let's get into the video. So we have the KBUA VM4 AEG2.5, the Ronin T6 right in front of me. And this is going to be the full review. Now, just to let you know, I already did a video on this. However, unfortunately, my audio got jacked up, so I am having to reshoot. So if you see me change clothing a couple times in the middle of the video, I promise you it's normal. It's not because I'm a neat freak and changing clothes. So right away, we're going to talk about the rifle. Now, starting at the very tip, this is going to be a gloss. It looks to be a powdered bright orange flash hider. Now, the USA, this is federally mandated, meaning it is required for me to sell this rifle with that orange tip on there. However, with that high gloss finish on there, it looks really good. Like, it's not the flat matte orange that most airsoft rifles are coming with. This actually has a little bit of flash to it. So very, very cool to see that. And it's kind of something that I personally, at least, would want to keep on my rifle. So there's that. Right out of the box, pretty awesome setup. Now, going back, we do have the M-LOK rail system. Now, what is a little unique is that this has a Picatinny top rail section up on the top here, and it has a 3-slot down here towards the front for like a foregrip or an angled grip, a hand stop, something like that. However, from the 3-slot back is all M-LOK. Now, for me, I would rather see either all M-LOK or all Picatinny. It was a little weird that they decided to go with a combination like this. Not really sure why. Can't give you that answer. It still looks cool, don't get me wrong. Looks awesome. Just a little out of the normal. On the 3 o'clock and the 9 o'clock, we have the M-LOK rail segments here for your Picatinny rail adapters or any of the M-LOK direct attachments. On the 45-degree segments, these are not M-LOK rail systems. You only have the options to put attachments on the 12 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 9 o'clock positions for the rail system. On the 45-degree sections, these are just going to be overall cutouts. If you see on the very top of the rail section where the Picatinny is, there are some pretty large cutouts right there as well, which I'm assuming is just to make it a little bit more lightweight, so it's easier to manipulate, move back and forth with your hands, making it as light as possible, since it is technically a SMG platform. On the very top of the rail system, we do have the PTS flip-up iron sights. Now, flip up like so. There we go. They're a little tough out of the box, which is awesome. You kind of want something to have a little bit of snap. For me, at least, I want something to have a little bit of snap. Now, with the very front here, you can rotate for that aperture or that front post to change vertically. Flips down. There's really no low profile cutouts for anything, so you can only use them in the flip up position. Going back, we do have the same type of setup where it's a flip up type of iron sight. However, this one does have a switch for daytime aperture or nighttime aperture. Now, that's just going to change the viewing port from a larger circle to a tighter circle. You would ideally use the tighter circle if you're using iron sights during the day, so a little bit more accuracy and consistency. And then in darker environments, you would want to change that aperture to the larger model so you can more easily find that front iron sight post in darker environments. Continuing backwards, this is going to be a Radian-esque charging handle. So this is going to be a left and a right, a ambi type of charging handle. Really, really easy, really, really nice. So very, very cool. This is a little bit more of a competition, or at least a higher end civilian firearm type of charging handle. Very, very cool that it is included with this KBUA rifle. I really wanted to get some of these radiant charging handles for my own personal airsoft rifles. However, PTS is out of stock of them. So really, really, really cool that these are available on the KWAs. So if you pull the charging handle back, unfortunately, this imitation bolt does not catch and retain backwards. So you're kind of just stuck pulling it backwards while you try to adjust your rotary style of hop-up. So while you have that charging handle back, pulling that imitation bolt backwards, you are going to push outwards at the tab for that bolt release, and then you're going to let your charging handle slide forward while holding that bolt release out, and that is going to keep your imitation bolt backwards. So you have full reign over adjusting your rotary style of hop-up. Really awesome. If you don't already have a rotary style pop-up unit, you should upgrade to one, because these are going to be much more consistent and hold their zero for much, much longer while on the airsoft field. And then while you are all done changing your hop-up, you can simply just hit that imitation bolt release like so, and that's going to pop that imitation bolt forward. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Continuing downwards, you do have a standard magazine release. It is not ambidextrous, so if you are left-handed, you're just going to have to get something aftermarket or learn to use the right-handed magazine release. Very, very sorry, the TK45 is going to be ambidextrous, but that doesn't take M4 magazines. Sorry, 14%. Anyway, what is there to say about the magazine release? It's a magazine release, not too tight, not too loose, really, really solid. There you have it, magazine release, KWA style. From there, we do have the ambidextrous selector switch. A little weird that that is ambidextrous, but nothing else on the rifle. So, for the right hand selector switch, this is going to be a longer PTS style of tab. So you have full controls of safe, semi, and full auto, while on the left side for left-handed people, it is a slightly shorter tab. So you are going to need to get your thumb rotated a little bit farther forward if you do need to go from full auto to semi. See how I need to take my fingers off of there, and then from semi back to, or from semi to safe. You got to do that finger off and rotate it. But going from safe to semi, no issue. It's a little trickier in order to get from semi to full auto, and then backwards you kind of have to twerk the hand in a weird fashion. Something that I'm not used to because I'm not left-handed. Going downwards still, we have the trigger assembly here, or at least the trigger. Now, the KBUA rifles are going to use a regular trigger trolley. It is not going to be a micro switch. So you are not going to get that tactical click. You are going to need to pull that trigger all the way. So it's the standard trigger. It is a little bit on the harder side, so it does require a little bit more pull in order to engage that trigger. Something to keep in mind. I know that there are some trigger trolley springs that are a little softer on certain brands, so it's a little easier in order to pull that trigger all the way back. However, for KBUA, they have a pretty stiff trigger trolley spring. So, anticipate having to work that finger muscle up. Going downwards, we have the PTS EPG Compact. I think that is the correct acronym. So this is going to have the checkerboard texture on the left and right side, while having the softer, more gentle texture on the front and the back. I personally am not a huge fan of the compact style of grips. I very much prefer to have the enhanced polymer grips that are going to have the beaver tail on the back here. For me, that just allows my hand to sit a little bit lower on the back of the receiver here so I can get a little bit better of an engagement with my finger. That's just me. I just have a little bit smaller fingers, so I need that linear assistance. While still talking about the receiver, we can talk about the 2.5 gearbox, or the 2.5 gearbox that is coming with this rifle specifically. This is a adjustable velocity gearbox. What that means is that you have a adjustable spring guide, just spring guide, that sits inside the gearbox, and that can adjust the tightness of the spring that adjusts the velocity, so that you can change from 350 to about 390 FPS on the TK45 at least. This may be a little different. We'll roll the footage in just a moment. On the very back here, we have a right side and a left side sling plate that you can attach your 1 points, your 2 points, your 3 points, your modular points. All of these slings are able to attach onto the back here. Now, keep in mind, this is the only place in order to hook a sling up. There is nothing as far as quick detach back here. There is nothing that is going to be quick detach back here. So keep that in mind. You can get sling mounts that attach to M-lock or Picatinny if you really want to. So you can run a really short 2 point, or you can run a simple 1 point. You can run a 2 point as a 1 point onto the back here, or you can run a no point. Just run it slingless. That is also an option. Going towards the back here, we have a tank stock. I believe this is the tank stock. What's really cool is that this has some really defined checkerboard texture back here. So what that does is it digs into whatever clothing, whether that be just a regular t-shirt, sweatshirt, maybe you have some tactical maybe you have a plate carrier or a chest rig that you are putting that stock into, but that is going to hold really well without slipping out. That actually holds really well. If you look right here, there is a slight bevel cut, or at least not a cut, but it hooks downwards here. And what that, at least what I understand it to be used for, is to hook the rifle up into your shoulder, which allows for an easy roll into a firing position, to go from a low ready up into a firing position. So really cool that they implemented that. These stop mod stocks, such as this, or even this, don't allow for an easy roll up into a firing position, like so. Now granted, I already have it like this, but to just rotate it into place, really smooth, really easy on the armpit and the shoulder, which I appreciate. Thank you, KWA. What is also unique is that this stock can fully extend without having to press the slide or the stock release. So, all the way out. And it holds tight. So you're not going to crank it all the way out, and you're not able to push it all the way back in. You have to use the stock release button right here in order to get it to the next position, or the next position. Now I could pull this out just to the middle position if I really wanted to. However, for me personally, it's really comfortable to run this in the all the way out position. And how is this beneficial? Think about this situation. You have this in a bag, right? It's tucked away back behind you. You are at a like an Operation Plague or Vigilance or something like that. Maybe not Vigilance, but some zombie base. You know, some type of Fallout 4 type of gameplay, or you have to keep your rifle concealed, like this guy right here. So you have it slung in a backpack, and now all of a sudden you get into contact. You unsling your backpack, pull your rifle out, bam, 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 bam. Target down. I don't know. That's how I think this is beneficial. in order to just pull it all the way out without having to make micro adjustments with 6 different positions like a traditional buffer tube would have. So unfortunately, because of the collapsible stock here, you can only run LiPo batteries here inside of the stock space. Now, I do have a video on how to get into the stock space, so I'm going to cut that right here. So we're going to go directly over to how to install the battery and then to the chrono area. Now, before we actually hit the range, we actually have to install the battery. So the way to do that is we're on the very bottom of the stock here. We're going to hit that button inwards. And we're going to hold it down as we slide the telescoping stock off. There is a small button on the top of the back plate here, which you're going to hold down, and the entire plate actually slides right off. Real easy peasy. Pull the wires out. It is going to be a mini Tamiya, and the fuse system is going to be one of the more basic car fuses. It's not the tubular ones, which are a little annoying, take a little bit more space. These are much easier, and they are more common now, so you can get more of these like at your local hardware store, car supply store, stuff like that. So because I currently don't have any of my LiPos here at the store, they're all at home for some reason, like I was stuck there for 2 months, I'm just going to use a 9.6 nickel metal hydride. Now this is going to fit in, not completely, but it does sit in there at a 45-degree angle. Of course, there is much more space, but because of how thick the battery itself is, it's not going to completely sit there. So just for testing purposes, it's just going to hang out like that. Now, if you do want to adjust your velocity, there is going to be an entire disassembly process, which unfortunately there's no official manual inside of the box. So pay attention to this, because this is actually going to be a little bit more informative than the couple of sheets of paper you are going to receive. So to do the work of changing the spring, you are going to need you are going to need your own screwdriver. This is the one I use for any sort of tech work. Now this is really long to go inside of buffer tubes. You do not need this one this long. You can use most of the standard 6-inch length and it will work just fine for the T6 here. But I'm just using this for range and velocity testing. We are going to use the MS-120 KBWay magazine that is going to come in the box just for consistency. And then just to show you what's coming in the box, it's literally this. Really, really thin. You've got your T Allen screw, which you absolutely need to change that velocity. Or really you don't. I'll show you in a minute. Some of the M-Lock Picatinny adapters for any of the attachments that you may have to go on the side. The large pink warranty card. A thank you of the purchase, as well as where to download your official manual. And a fun, funky little KBWay sticker, which you can throw on your laptop or computer tower. Or your car, or your gear bag, whichever. So, first step is taking the screwdriver that you have, going inside of the back of the rifle and unscrewing the one single screw that is in the back there. Non-copyright music. And just with a couple turns, it is out just like that. And then you can pull your stock all the way off. Carefully as well. It is fairly tight. Careful your wires not to pull them out. Now, I kind of did lie a little bit. You can adjust your velocity just with your hands, such as with an open palm, push in, rotate about 20 degrees, and let out. Now, with the AEG2.5 gearbox, there is going to be your AEG spring, which adjusts the velocity, and this is the buffer spring, or not buffer spring. This is your spring guide. This is your spring guide. So the idea with the 2.5 gearbox is that you are going to compress the spring inside of the gearbox by extending this neck out. So you're going to get max velocity with this neck all the way out, which I am continuing to turn and turn. And there we go. That is max right there. Being very careful. There is a right and a wrong way in order to reinstall this. There are 3 tabs that need to be facing upward. Again, open palm, push in, so it slides all the way into the neck here, and then rotate 20 degrees to the right, and it will lock in place. Now, with that spring adjusted with the neck all the way out, this is going to create the max velocity. So we're going to go to the range, just like this. So it's just super easy for me to pull this back out, tighten this back up, and then shoot it for the lowest possible velocity. And then to reassemble the stock, it's just a simple reverse of operations. Take your stock tube, feed the wires through the large opening, being careful to align the stock up. Again, it is a little tight, so use little wiggles to slide that all the way in. And the tricky part is getting the spring back inside of the buffer tube here. It is a little easier for me to completely rotate the rifle upside down, hold it at a very precarious angle, like so. And usually putting this in position where you can operate it no-handed, sometimes dropping a magazine or roll of tape underneath. And then you're using 2 hands to very carefully guide the screw to finger tight. No need to over tighten. Check your wires back into place. And you're all good. Put your cap back on, put the stock back on, magazine in, and you are good to go. And then for the next bit, I'm just going to do a quick little cute voiceover because my Wi-Fi audio thing got jacked up with the distance. So enjoy the silly voiceover. All done. That was 25 feet. Now I'm going to talk really briefly about something. Pretty sure I'm talking about the different targets for different ranges. Now I'm walking it out to 25 feet. Don't know why I'm walking back. A little delayed there. So it was 10 shots to the forehead, 10 shots to the body. Then I'm going to grab a marker. I'm going to start marking them where the impacts were at 25 or at 50 feet. Excuse me. The first one was 25 feet. This one is 50 feet. I'm going to mark it there. And then I'm going to walk this out to 100 feet. I don't know why my camera's doing all of that stuff. Must have a hard time focusing. Alright, walking back. Probably said something really cool. Again, aiming for the body at 100 feet. And probably taking slower shots. That's why this one's not me walking out and grabbing it. There we go. All done shooting my 10 shots. Grabbing the target, walking back in. Alright, so we've got the 10 shots on the forehead. That's a really, really tight grouping at 25 feet. And then we have the blue circles, which were the impacts at 50 feet. really, really tight grouping at the 50-foot mark, much tighter than the TK45 actually was. And then the silver impacts were the grouping size out at 100 feet. I think I'm missing one at 100, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, I either missed one shot or I only shot 9 times. I think I was supposed to actually go back and count the audio for how many times I shot, but of course you obviously know that my audio did not work out. See there, I'm circling the 25 grouping. Really, really, really tight. Really happy with that grouping at 25 feet with how short of that inner barrel was. Really, really good grouping. Blues at 50 feet. Again, those are all within body shots. So really tight grouping at 50, again, with that short inner barrel. And then hitting 9 out of 10 times, or hitting all 9 shots, if I did, in fact, shoot 9 times, at 100 feet. So really, really good grouping. And I'm rambling on a little bit, talking about something. Not really sure what about. Yeah, I actually really like these targets. I really like this new shooting system that I came up with. So if you guys like this format, maybe without the voiceovers, but if you like this, put it down in the comment section, let me know. I promise I will do everything to fix audio in the future. So, final thoughts on the KWA Ronin T6. A very awesome platform. I really like it. It's a short CQB rifle. It's definitely going to be one of the higher end rifles that are going to be on the market. Like I said, it's ultimately designed externally as far as a quick reaction system. So quick pop-ups, very snappy trigger response, very, very agile and mobile, being short and compact. That this is really going to be ideal for CQB. Of course, you do have the option to take it outdoors as well with that adjustable velocity gearbox. However, for me personally, I would want a longer inner barrel in order to allow a little bit better stability and consistency with BBs out at greater distances if I were to play at any outdoors fields. So this is definitely a rifle that should be considered. Now it is coming from KWA. It is a little bit more expensive, but I personally think that this is going to be a really, really good option for you guys that want something that's going to be higher end. It's just going to perform really well outside the box. Not going to have to do anything to it aftermarket. It's already set up with a higher end durable gearbox. It has adjustable velocity. It's got that rotary hop up. The inner barrel is still really, 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 really good. It's not the best, but it's still really good. And again, this is just going to be ultimately my suggestion. You guys, of course, can spend your money on whatever. There are still tons of higher end rifles that are currently on the market. This is more designed to have anyone that has any specific questions, want any more in-depth information about any of these rifles. And that's kind of what I'm here for. That was something that I was looking forward to as I was growing up. And so this channel, these videos, are directly for players that may be like me. They want some more information. They have very specific questions that they want to know about the rifle before they make that final decision, before they put it in their cart and they buy it. So if you guys do have any further questions, put them down in the comment section below. I will happily answer any of them, or as many as I possibly can at least. No promises. And with that, I will see you guys in the next one. So you guys take care, stay safe, and I'll see you next time. Later.